So here we are with Adam Hart, The Power of Food, your new book. And I got a little, when I saw The Power of Food, I must admit, I'll fess up, I rolled my eyes. And I thought, oh my gosh, here we go again. Then I started reading it, and I will honestly say, I couldn't put it down.
Oh, really?
So I was reading along, and I'm thinking, you were saying things that I thought, yeah, I need to do that, or I did do that, and I know how that works, and I need a kickstart again. So even how you say, you know, you got to look what you eat, and writing things down. There was a theme throughout this whole thing about you really don't engage with yourself to get yourself going until you write something down.
Yeah, the intention piece. Yeah.
The intention piece,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I find that nutrition is the catalyst for intention.
Yeah.
So if you do write something down, a goal of any kind, whether it's a fitness goal or a health goal, as soon as you write it down, it sets the intention.
Yes.
And once you start to bring in some beautiful nutrient-rich foods, it just helps bring that intention to life.
And and because we all know we should do this, right? I mean, that's not a secret. I mean, you're not telling us anything new in that regard.
No.
But I think it's the way you do it as well. And I think I'm not vegetarian, and I would never call myself vegetarian, but I seem to eat about 2 or 3 meals, if not more, a week that don't have meat. And this book is vegetarian, but you never say that word in there, ever. Really, you call it veggie something or whatever, but you don't talk about it like that. You just say it's a part of your diet.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of not putting labels on anything. I've been asked for many years now, am I a vegetarian, am I a vegan, am I a raw foodist, and I'm neither.
You're none of those.
I just want to feel as good as I can possibly feel.
Right.
It just turns out that I feel best when I eat vegetables and plant-based foods. So that's kind of what this turned into, is the recipes are all based on plant-based foods, because that's what makes me feel the best.
You've had I mean, you look great, and you're not by any stretch of imagination old or whatever you're young, but you had your epiphany at a young age, though, really.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people get it as they get older. Why do you think that happened to you at such a young age? You realize?
Well, I think it's pretty common these days. We have a very heavy processed food diet, especially in major city centers, and I don't want to just
we're in Toronto. It's okay. We're here.
I grew up in Toronto, so I had a very fast food diet throughout my teens and in my 20s, and it kind of carried on with me. And not really having that connection to how I was feeling before I knew it. I was already 26 and suffering with being pre-diabetic, high cholesterol, all these different food allergies.
And the doctor giving you pills.
Yeah, and that was kind of the solution that I kept given to me was those ideas. And I just got tired at one point of always listening to everybody else tell me what I should do to get healthy, and I just decided I'm going to do it for myself. Right. I'm going to figure this out myself. Right. And 15 years later, this is what the example is of what.
You ever fall off the wagon?
Well, there's no falling off the wagon. Well, this is great because it's all about a lifestyle. So what I found is that no restrictions is the key, because I've been on many diets in the past.
Yeah, and they never work.
Never work.
Because diet right on means that you're going to stop it at some point.
Right. And how do you usually feel when you're going to diet?
Well, I don't diet either. I go ahead though. Yeah, I don't. Not that great.
Most people they feel frustrated after a little while. They're guilty, and you want more of what you're trying to restrict yourself on.
Exactly.
So the idea is don't restrict, but learn what are some of the key, beautiful, nutrient-rich foods that we can add in that are going to at least give us what we're looking for, which is number one is to control our blood sugar. Right. That's like the bottom line. If you control your blood sugar, all of a sudden you have less food cravings, less sugar cravings. You start to get better quality sleep. None of these up and down crashes. So that's step one. Don't eliminate what you're doing, because it's just going to drive you nuts. Yeah. But let's think about what can we bring in from this beautiful plant-based world that's going to nourish us, and then give us the freedom to recognize that we have a choice.
What? I know. I mean, you say all the right things, because it's funny, because that is, as I say, is the one area that you control is your food. But you also talk about life balance too, which I think is equally important. And when people are under a tremendous amount of stress that they can't control. Yeah. The food is the one thing they can control, or it can be controlling of them as well. Yeah.
Well, it's the number one addictive thing that we do is related to food.
I have an addiction. I never knew. I'm addicted to food.
Most of us do.
Yes. Yeah, I know. It's true. I never thought of it like that. Yeah. But what do you say to people, though, who don't have access to all this, though, too, where fast food is cheaper, and we have these food deserts in urban areas where there's no grocery stores? Yeah.
Well, my first step is always pick 1 or 2 foods that you can add in that are easy to find and easy to use. Okay. So, I mean, the Power of Food goes through 24 of those foods. Yes, it does. But there's 1 or 2 that are kind of key. The number 1 on my list is hemp seeds. Okay. So hemp seeds, maybe not the cheapest. Right. It'll cost you about $20 for a bag or $15 for a bag of a pound. But all you got to do is add to everything you eat just a little bit, even if it's a teaspoon or a tablespoon, to everything, and instantly it'll just control your blood sugar. So even when you have your chocolate,
I'm going to get hemp seeds.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about what's in chocolate cake, Not a whole lot. It's going to spike your sugar and give you a crash.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean you have to
give it up. Can I add hemp seed to that?
Right. So that's the idea. You add hemp seed to that, and then all of a sudden it will control that crash.
That crash.
And eventually, as you keep doing that, just by adding hemp seeds or flax, you can ground flax, or there's all these different beautiful seeds that are not offensive to the foods that we already eat. Then just by adding those in, all of a sudden gives us that nice steady stream of energy, and then you have clarity. It's like, whoa, wait a minute, I don't need to eat that cake as much, or I don't want to have as much. You have more energy.
Why waste your calories on something that
and your money.
Now, you said something interesting too, which put a smile on my face in the part two, where you talk about seeing your friend in Golden, BC, and you went to his house and you opened up the cupboards, all the glass jars.
Right.
And my mother's like that, bless her heart, she's 90, going strong, and she's got all the glass jars, and she's got her wheat germ, she's got her seeds, and I mean, honestly, I should pay more attention, you're right, to the grandmothers of the world and the moms of that generation, and there is something about that.
Yeah, there is. It's we're kind of in a moment in history related to food that we've never experienced before. When we think about the Industrial Revolution 10,000 years ago, when we started to have a more heavy-based grain diet, and all of a sudden, just in the last 100 years, 50 years, it's just gotten so extreme that we've now taken some of those beautiful plant-based foods and just destroyed them. And that's what we're consuming on a daily basis. So I went into my grandmother's kitchen and realized, whoa, wait a minute, this is how my friends are eating in Golden, and why they're so strong and fit. And it's all based on plant-based foods, and then I see my grandmother eating that way, and I'm like, wait a minute. Now I see what's going on. So I started doing it for myself.
Well, I also think, too, that refrigeration is a double-edged sword. The invention of being able to refrigerate stuff and send it all around the world and whatever. Good and bad,
Yeah, it's a big subject.
Yeah, I know. We'll leave that for another time. But this is fantastic, and I love the book, and I say I couldn't put it down. And that was just the reading part, and I was skimming the recipes, and I saw you've got beyond kale chips. You've got kale chips, but you've got so many things as well, and I'm really excited to use the book. And I have a daughter she doesn't call herself vegetarian either, but she eats, because she likes a nice steak. But she will eat, so I'm really excited to take this home and try it herself. So.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you, Adam. Great.
Yeah, nice
Excellent. Good luck.